Good morning to everyone. This is People's Advocate Sreemannarayana Mallela. I'm talking about auditing standards now. Every day morning, our class starts 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. According to today, a little bit late. Sorry for that, your inconvenience to my students. Let's start our discussion now. Before stepping into class, I would like to, before stepping into class, I would like to, before starting the class, I would like to just revise the standard names and contents. Thereafter, we'll look into the subject. Let's start. SCA 4410 speaks about compilation engagement. SRS 4400 speaks about engagement to perform agreed upon procedures regarding financial information. Regarding financial information. SAE 3420 speaks about assurance engagement, assurance engagement to report on the compilation of the pro forma financial information included in prospectus. SAE 3402 speaks about assurance report control at service organization. SAE 3400 speaks about the examination of the prospective financial information. SRE 2410 review of interim financial information performed by the independent auditors of the entity. Okay, guys. SA 2014 talks about review of interim financial information performed by the independent auditors of the entity. SAE 2400 speaks about engagement to review historical financial statements. SAE 810 talks about engagement to report on summary financial statements. SCA 805 talks about a special considerations. SCA 805 speaks about a special considerations audit of single financial statements. SCA 800 talks about a special consideration audit of financial statement prepared in accordance with the special purpose framework. SA 720 speaks about auditor responsibility. SA 800 speaks about auditor responsibility. SA 720 speaks about auditor responsibility in relation to other information in documents containing audited financial statements. SA 710 speaks about a comparative information corresponding figures and comparative financial statements. That was SA 710. SA 706 speaks about emphasis matter paragraph and other matter paragraph in the auditor's report. SA 705 speaks about modification to the opinion in the independent auditor's report. SA 701 speaks about communicating key audit matters in the independent auditor's report. SA 700 forming an opinion and reporting on financial statements. SA 620 using the work of an auditor's expert. 610 using the work of internal auditors. 600 using the work of another auditor. 580 written representations. 570 going concern. 560 subsequent events. 550 related parties. And 540 auditing accounting estimates including fair value of accounting estimates. 530 audit sampling, 520 analytical procedure, 510 initial audit engagement opening balances, 505 external confirmation. 501 501 audit evidence is specific considerations for selected items. SCF 500 audit evidence. SCF 450 speaks about evaluation of misstatements identified during the audit. SCF 402 audit considerations related to entity using a service organization. SCA 330 auditor's responsibility to assess the risk. SA 320 materiality in planning and performing an audit. SA 315 identifying and assessing risk of material misstatement through understanding. SA 315 identifying and assessing risk of the material misstatements through understanding. SA 300 planning an audit of the financial statements. SA 300 planning in an audit of the financial statement. SA 299 responsibility of the joint auditors. SA 265 communicating deficiencies of internal control to those with governance and management. SA 260 communicating with those charged with governance. SA 250 considerations of laws and regulations in an audit of the financial statements. SA 240 the auditor's responsibility and regulation in an audit of the financial statements. SA 240 auditor's responsibility relating to fraud in an audit of the financial statements. SA 230 audit documentation. SA 220 quality control for audit of financial statements. SA 210 agreeing the terms of audit engagement. SA 200 overall objectives of an independent auditor and audit conduct. Essay 200 speaking about overall objective of an independent auditor and audit conduct. Now we'll start already previous classes we completed till SRA 2000, SRA 3400 something. Let's start now. Otherwise, high super area professional ethics is that I need to study. Okay, first we'll start whatever. Guys, I'm starting. Okay, now we are in SRE 2014. I hope we completed last class till here only, or maybe I completed this also. PFI other assurance also I started. Yes, SA 3402 I am not completed. Now I'll start. Yes, I'm starting. SCA 3420 assurance engagement to report and the compilation of the pro forma financial information, including the prospectus. My dear advocates, my dear advocates, my dear junior advocates, I'm talking about standards on auditing, how it will help to you. If you are CBI lawyer, if you are ED lawyer, if you are investigation lawyer, if you are finance expert, you are an advocate handling the matters before CBI and ED, you are the advocate for handling multinational companies, you are an advocate handling risk assessment, you are an advocate handling things by, for example, like Tata Group, Reliance Group, into the examination of the prospective financial statement. During the court argument, your argument can be delivered by your subject matter of understanding. So, in order to become a such good advocate, you need to be learn auditing. So, auditing is one of the prominent key subject to becoming a successful tax litigation advocate or corporate lawyer. In order to become an expertise tax litigation advocate, what I am doing, this will help you to make you a perfect tax lawyer, like finance expert lawyer. In that arena, in the course of the examination perspective, now I am going to talk about SA 3420. So it will help you, my dear advocates, my friends, my juniors, my colleagues, or tax consultants, or chartered accountants, or advocates, everyone, it will help us. So in that general way, I'm talking about SA 3420. SA 3420 speaks about SCA 3420 speaks about the core reasonable assurance engagement. See, SCA 3420 speaks about assurance engagement to report on the compilation of the pro forma financial information included in the prospectus. A meaning and scope. A scope SCA 3420 covers reasonable assurance engagement on a pro forma financial information. Okay, the practitioner rule reports on the responsible party compilation of a pro forma financial information. Applicability applies when reporting is required by security laws, regulations of stock exchange, where the prospectus is issued, a generally accepted practice in that jurisdiction. Meaning, pro forma financial information refers to financial information including adjustment to show the impact on event or transaction on unadjusted financial information as if it had occurred at an earlier date. Offer documents. Pro forma financial information is used to show the effect of transaction on a company's financial statements, assuming it happened at an earlier date. Firms pro forma information. It can take the form of statement of profit and loss account, balance sheet to show how the transactions affects additional disclosures. It also include notes such as a significant aspect of the transaction, assumption used, adjustments made, a purpose of the pro forma financial information in prospectus. Helps illustrate the impact of significant event or transaction on an entity's unadjusted financial information using pro forma adjustments, not an actual position, does not reflect the entity actual in financial position, performance or cash flows. Objective of standards on auditing SA 3420, reasonable assurance. Ensure that the pro forma financial information is compiled by the responsibility by the responsible party in all material respects based on the applicable criteria. Reporting provide a report based on the practitioner's findings. Compilation of pro forma financial information. Compilation process. A responsible party gathers, classifies, summarizes, and presents financial information to show the impact of significant event or transaction on unadjusted financial information. And it had occurred a selective date. Understand, friends? Yes, you will be understand. Step 1, identifying sources. Identifying the source, the unadjusted financial information, and extract unadjusted financial information. Step 2, making adjustments and applying pro forma adjustments to understand financial information based on the purpose of the pro forma financial information. Step 3, presentation. Present the final pro forma financial information with the necessary disclosures. Nature of practitioner's responsibility. Responsibility for compilation. The practitioner is not responsible for compiling pro forma financial information. This is the responsible party duty. Practitioner's role. The practitioner's solo responsibility to report whether pro forma financial information has been compiled in all material respects based on the applicable criteria. Nature of engagement is a reasonable assurance engagement to assess whether the applicable criteria used in the compilation provide a reasonable basis for presenting the significant effects of the events or transactions. Applicable criteria, the criteria used by the responsible party to compile the pro forma financial information. They may be established by a standard, a setting organization, law, or regulation, developed by the responsibility party if no established criteria exist. Steps to be involved in engagement. The following steps are involved in an engagement. Engagement acceptance, planning and performing the engagement, obtain written representation, forming the opinion, preparing the assurance report. These engagement acceptance. Just 1 minute. I forgot my specs. Guys, I would like to start. See, steps involve an engagement. The following steps are involved in an engagement: engagement acceptance, planning and performing the engagement, obtain written representations, forming the opinion, preparing the assurance report. Engagement acceptance. Before accepting an engagement report on pro forma financial information in a prospectus, the practitioner most considered by the key factor. Practitioner's competence ensure that practitioner has the necessary capabilities and completeness to perform the engagement. Stability of the criteria based on preliminary knowledge and discussions with the responsible party ensure the applicable criteria are suitable and the pro forma financial information is not misleading. Opinion wording. Evaluate, evaluate, evaluate whether the opinion wording required by law or regulation aligns with procedures specified in standards on auditing SA 3420. Use of auditor, use of use of audited reviewed information. If unadjusted financial information or acquiring diversity information has been audited, reviewed with a notified opinion or emphasis matter paragraph. Assess if referencing it is permitted by law or regulations. Understanding the entity. If the entity historical financial information has never been audited or reviewed, determining if the practitioner can gain a sufficient understanding its accounting and financial reporting. Understanding the acquiry, if an acquisition is involved, the acquiry and financials have never been audited, reviewed. Assess whether The practitioner can gain sufficient understanding of its financial reporting procedures, agreed with responsibility party, obtain agreement that the responsible party acknowledge its responsibilities, including disclosure of the criteria if the applicable criteria are not publicly available, ensure they are adequately disclosed to intended users, compilation responsibility. Confirm that the responsibility party is accountable for compiling the pro forma financial information based on the applicable criteria. As to practitioner, the responsible party must provide access to all relevant records, documentation, and information. Additional information is requested by the practitioner, access to entity personnel and advisors for obtaining evidence. If required, access to individuals within the acquiry in a business combination. Planning, performing an audit, planning and performing in the engagement. Obtain, planning, performing the engagement. The criteria for evaluation, the practitioner must assess whether the applicable criteria are suitable as required by the framework for assurance engagements. Materiality. When planning and performing the engagement, consider materiality in evaluating whether the pro forma financial information has been compiled in all material respects based on the applicable criteria. Understanding compliance process. Gain an understanding of how the responsible party has compiled the pro forma financial information. Sources of unadjusted financial information. The practitioner must obtain evidence about the, the appropriateness of the sources. If an audit report If an audit report exists for the source of the pro forma, perform the procedure to confirm its appropriateness. Ensure the responsibility party has appropriately extracted the unadjusted financial information. Obtain evidence about the appropriateness of the sources. If the auditor's report exist for the sources of perform a procedures to confirm its appropriateness, ensure the responsible party has appropriately extracted the unadjusted financial information. Obtain evidence on the appropriateness of the pro forma adjustments. Pro forma adjustments Good morning, friends. To everyone, good morning. Are you able to understand? If you have back, my mobile number 9677205265. The pro forma adjustment to understand financial information may include illustrating the impact of significant events or transactions as if it occurred at earlier date, ensure ensuring consistency with the applicable financial reporting framework. Evaluate the presentation of pro forma financial other information. The practitioner must review other information on the prospects to identify any material inconsistencies with the pro forma financial information. The practitioner, the written representation, the practitioner shall request written confirmation from the responsible party regarding the following: identification of adjustments. The responsible party has identified all appropriate pro forma adjustments needed to illustrate the impact of the event or transaction at the selected date or period. Compliance with criteria. The pro forma financial information has been compiled in all material respects based on the applicable criteria. Opinion. Unmodified opinion. The practitioner express an unmodified opinion and the pro forma financial information has been complied in all material respects based on the applicable criteria. Modified opinion issued when the pro forma financial information does not meet the applicable criteria in all material respects. Law does not permit modified opinion. If law or regulation does not allow a prospectus with a modified opinion, but the practitioner believes a modification is necessary, the practitioner must discuss the matter with responsible party. If the responsible party does not agree to make the necessary changes, the practitioner shall withdraw from the engagement and consider seeking legal advice. Law permit the modified opinion. If law or regulation a modification opinion, the practitioner must apply the requirements in the framework regarding the modified opinion. Okay, guys. Emphasis matter paragraph. The practitioner may include emphasis other matter paragraph. Para to highlight a significant issue fundamental to the user's understanding of the pro forma financial information. Relevance. The paragraph must only the paragraph must only refer to the material already disclosed in the pro forma financial information. A sufficient evidence The practitioner must obtain a sufficient appropriate evidence that the matter does not affect the whether pro forma financial has been complied in all material aspects. Good morning, friends. You're understanding? I hope you will understand. If any doubt, you can call me back. My mobile number 9677205265. My mail ID is peoplesadvocate.msn@gmail.com. Thank you. Somebody liked my video. I'm good and feel happy about that. Now, emphasis matter paragraph. The practitioner may include emphasis other matter paragraph, EOM, EOM para, to highlight the significant issue fundamental to the user's understanding of the pro forma financial information. Relevance. The paragraph must only refer to matters already disclosed in the pro forma financial information. Sufficient evidence. The practitioner must obtain sufficient supporting evidence that the matter does not affect whether pro forma financial information has been complied all material respects. Preparing the assurance report, the practitioner's report must include key elements. Those are title, address, introductory paragraph that identify the pro forma financial information, the source of unaudited financial information, and whether it has an audit review report, form of financial information, a reference to applicable criteria used and source of that criteria, statement that the responsible party is responsible for compiling the pro forma financial information based on the applicable criteria, description of practitioner's responsibility, expressing an opinion on whether the pro forma financial information has been compiled in all material respects. Clarity that the practitioner has not audited, received historical financial data. State that pro forma financial information is for illustrative purpose only. Statement that engagement with performed in compilation in compliance with standards and auditing SA 3420 and ethical requirement. Statement that a reasonable assurance engagement involves procedures to assess whether the applicable criteria provide a reasonable basis for presenting the significant effect of the event or a transaction. The related pro forma adjustments give pro forma financial information reflect the proper application of those unadjustments to the unadjusted financial information. The procedure selected depends on or transaction related to the pro forma financial information. Engagement circumstances. The engagement also includes evaluating The engagement also includes evaluating overall presentation of the pro forma financial information. The practitioner opinion may use one of these phases unless otherwise required by law. The pro forma financial information has been compiled in all material respects on the basis of the compiled on the basis signature documentation as with all assurance engagements. The practitioner must maintain proper documentation throughout the engagement under SAE 3420. Guys, you understand? Let's move to next page. See, basically we completed auditor's report, basically we completed specialized area, we completed review financial information. These are basically we completed audit through this video, and then with very span of it within 5 to 10 minutes break, I would like to continue other chapter which is the most important for our CA final as well as for the public media. Guys, thank you one and all who are watching my YouTube channel. I am grateful to you. Thank you very much. Bye bye. See you. Tata.